Greetings, Sanbonani. We are back at it again. Another week where we're bringing you another amazing talent. And today's talent is somebody that I've known for many years. We parted ways as well, but we've joined again. We found our way to each other again, and I wanted to have him here on this set to be able to share about his journey. My name is Sipho Slang. This is The Rap, and our guest is none other than Jan-Pierre Moller.
Well
Welkom.
done. Baie dankie. Meneer Klangu, lekker om jou te sien.
Dis lekker om jou te sien ook, hoor. Welkom by ons lokasie.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure to have you, my friend. And I want to just dive into your journey, the work that you've done, and who you are. A lot of people will recognize your face from adverts. You know, they've seen you do all these ads, but we're gonna, and maybe some movies, some as well as seen you in movies, but we just want to unpack the journey and where it comes from. As per tradition of the show, I normally ask my guest if there was a billboard with your face on it and there was a sentence that captured the essence of who you are, what would it read?
I think it will either be unique
Yeah.
or be the best you that you can be.
Be unique or be the best you that you can be. Why those two?
I think, as you said, a journey. So at school, you were a lot of judged for being unique and for being different. Where now it was actually because of being different that you get roles, that you get auditions. Because I didn't study drama, so that's why I get roles because of how I look.
Yeah.
And then you learn as you go. So the past 16, 17 years, I've done stuff on TV, luckily, and it's all because of the way you look.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of people think it's easy, a lot of people think, yeah, you just do it, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that, yeah.
Maybe let's even go back a little bit to JP as a youngster. What did you want to be and how was your childhood?
Okay. Sure, childhood was lekker. Grew up in Kempton Park in Birchley. Had a great family, still have. I have a sister. We went to school. I didn't want to take a bursary at high school, so I went to the school, did not give me a bursary. I don't know why, but I landed up there.
Was Jachland the one that gave you a bursary?
Yeah, Jeugdland did. Kempton also asked for hockey, and I said, yeah. So yeah, then we went to Birchley. And yeah, there I met awesome people like you, so there was a reason for everything.
There is. That is fascinating because I also had a bursary from Jachland and Kempties for rugby though. And the only reason I didn't go there is because they were strictly Afrikaans and my Afrikaans was horrible. And Birchley was starting out a system where they were going to have the first English group. So they promised that they were going to assist us and help us, and that's the only reason. Because I really liked Jachland, I loved Kempton, their bursaries were much better, they had uniform and all these things, but I guess I was meant to be at Birchley.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
There's a reason for these things, yeah.
There is. You said being unique and being yourself at all costs, but also within that statement, you touched on the fact that growing up, there was a sense of being judged for how you look like. Take us through that journey.
Oh, definitely. So I'm the skinny white boy. You know, Afrikaans school, it's supposed to be rugby orientated. So yes, I did play rugby until grade 7. Bare feet, cold foot rugby that I hated. But anyway, but we did all of that stuff. But because I truly believe I have ADHD, and I am a psychologist now, so I can say that. But because I had that, I had to be busy. So then I did more sport and more culture and stuff. To keep busy, to keep my energy out of it, I can focus on my studies. So I never went on medication or anything like that. I just managed through staying busy. And with that, luckily, I learned a lot of skills and a lot of friends through the way as well. But yeah, I think then I was judged because I did all the lady stuff. So I started hockey boys at the school. We didn't have hockey boys.
Yes.
Then I had to coach, and I was grade 10. I didn't know anything about coaching, so yeah, I just didn't want to sit next to the field. So then they made me run on the field and manage from the side. And yeah, then I did choir. That was also with you. That was also seen as a girls thing to do. But I didn't know that we were like 20 guys going to Europe with like 40 girls. But anyway. And yeah, like doing plays and cheerleading and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then you are seen as, oh, that's for girls. And for cheerleading, they could throw me because I'm
Yes.
light. So yeah, I could never pick up weight. So at every audition, they asked me, but like, are you sick? Or are you okay? Like, do we need to check you out? Do we need medics here or whatever? I'm like, no, I'm fine.
It's just been me. I've been like this my whole
It's just
life.
me, yeah.
Yeah. But I like that. And I want to go back a bit deeper into it because you are touching on a very important part. You go into a rugby school, a Afrikaans school, which is all about macho sports, and at the same time, you are very strong in academics and in cultural stuff, but there was a sense of not being enough because of the sporting part of, I mean, you not in that sporting part. So how did that influence your career choice and what you do after school?
Okay, sure. So I wanted to do pediatrics. I wanted to do
Okay.
pediatrician. So I wanted to cut kids open. Joking. But I wanted to help kids. And then I went to Mamelodi campus. But yeah, where it all started was at school. I wasn't chosen for some plays as main characters. And when we sing in Israel Youth Choir, but then they make you a mime. But you have to sing in the background or for other people
Yes.
even. Then I was disappointed because that was where my heart is and I wanted to
Yes.
be there. And then they don't choose you. And that was such a disappointment to me. Like I was so disappointed. I took drama as an extra subject at school, grade 10 to 12. And we had to take it outside of school because our school
Yes.
didn't have it. But even with that, they don't choose me. And I was so hurt. I was like, the people I want to impress are these people.
Yes.
And they didn't choose me. So then I did my first commercial when I was 16, when I was in grade 10, for Mutual and Federal. And that's where, well, I got a break, where I got an agent.
Yeah.
So then I started to audition more and things like that. But then I had something on TV, but the school still didn't choose me. Until 2 years later, when they wanted to make a play, then they were actually like, oh, JPR, come and audition. I was like, oh, now, what now?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, and even at drama, we went to drama essays, and then you compete against each other and stuff. And I never won. Like the group stuff, I got gold,
Yes.
but for the individual stuff, I never won. And those people who got the gold, they are not acting at all
Yes.
anymore, at all.
Yeah.
So some of them just became parents and housewives and things. Others did completely like lawyer or whatever. But they were the ones winning. They were the models. They were those people, and I never did. So yeah, and I'm still doing it.
You know what I'm enjoying about this conversation is because we've had so many people as guests who speak about, you know, taking care of the body and how you have to be a certain way because our industry is a physical industry. Like, well, it's about looks. It's superficial in a sense, you know. So finding you now saying it's dealing with rejection after rejection after rejection for something you cannot change.
Yes.
You know, it's been a fascinating thing for me. So you are dealing about, rejection after rejection after rejection, and it's important because I want the world to know that there's a room for everybody, but you have to find your niche.
Yes.
You know, so why, even though you were dealing with all this rejection, and of course it made you not go and study drama, but you still continued to pursue the drama space, to do ads. What has kept you going? What has kept you involved?
I think the love of it.
Yes.
I think the passion for it. I love it. Yo, it's like it is so much fun. And for me, I use a lot of time to educate as well. So I am a psychologist and I also lecture psychology, but I also lecture PGCE now, so education now. I did teach at a school before. So for me, it is empowering others. And I did Swartwater, that's actually creating awareness for mental health.
Yes.
And I mean, that was like, I want to be Dr. Phil. So for me, that's getting there. It's part of my journey. Then the Daily Sun contacted me because they saw me on TV and stuff. And then they said, okay, you're a psychologist now. Can you be our resident psychologist? So then I did some sexology talks for them. I mean, and I was twice now on EWCA News as well, where they contact me like, hey, we know about you. We see you lecturing. Can we connect it to and use you in awareness programs or documentaries or whatever? So I just think that everything in the end like just flows so naturally.
Yeah.
So I act when I'm in class. I make it
Yeah.
fun for them, that the students can see reality. They don't see a textbook, because a textbook's not going to help you anywhere in psychology or in life. It's not. It's good to have the basis, but to apply it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole different story. So, yeah, and that's why I also like now when people go study drama, it's very practical.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important, because you learn so much more in the practical
You do.
than
You do.
actually just
The
in the
theory.
closed, safe space where you're with a lecturer and you learn the theory and that part of it. So, yeah, I don't say there's not a space for it, but I do think the important part is in practice.
In the practice. Tell us what excites you about being on set, because you've now been in multiple sets and you say you continue to do this thing because you love it. What excites you about set?
Yeah. Okay, so to think about the rejection part, so I audition about 50 to 60 times a year at least.
Yeah.
And I might get one, maybe nothing in a year. And then we get stereotyped sometimes, so then that is about 2 years or 3 years that has to go away before you get cast for something else. I literally had to get a different wig and put freckles on, and they still said, "No, we remember you from Chicken Licken or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, really?" So it's quite tough, and competitors, so you can't do competitors for that time and for 2 years after. So it was quite rough. But then you have to find a different you. And that's what I love about the acting, your character. It's not you. So even when you're in an advert where you don't speak, you have a name. So I did Apple Now that released last week Friday. And literally it is like, my name was Derek. They never say it anywhere. Nobody know about it. But there's a storyboard who draws it for you and what Derek has to do. So it's not me, it's not JP, it's Derek.
Yeah.
And that's like that's fun. You're not using, and you can live another character's life.
Yeah. I think that's the thing about acting that I've always loved. My first love is music, but acting for me has been something that has been a window to a world beyond my own. Because I get to experiment, I get to play different characters, I get to go on different journeys, have different experiences, meet new people, which sometimes my music journey doesn't allow me, because in my music journey I do exactly what I want. I do my kind of music, and I do it in intimate settings with intimate people who can connect to my story. But with acting, it allows me to be in people's living rooms, in spaces, especially on stage, because it allows me to really impact lives of people, but not as me.
Yes.
And when I leave, that character gives me something, gives me a level of confidence, gives me a level of appreciation, and sometimes even exposure, you know? So characters are very beautiful.
Definitely. And as you say, exposure.
Yeah.
Because who sees you, who knows you. The 2 movie roles I actually got, I got auditions through Facebook. And then they asked me, can they contact my agent? And I was like, is this person for real? Is it a fake director? What's happening here? So I sent it to my agent, and they're like, okay, no, they are legit, so please JP audition. But otherwise, like, I wouldn't have been in there. The one I did charity with, we did a flash mob for Feed a Child campaign. And the person there then went to America, Raina, and then she became a director for National Geographic, and she did great work overseas. And she's like, I'm going to make a movie in South Africa. So she contacts me on Facebook. Hey, JP, do you still act? I'm like, yeah, kind of. She's like, oh, so do you want to do this horror movie? I'm like, what is this? So cool. So that's how I actually got the movie roles. The commercials, you audition and you sit in lines.
Yeah.
Luckily, when they know you a bit more, you have a time slot.
Yeah.
So then it's between this and this time, JP, please come. But other times, for Chicken Licken, for example, I think we were, 450 skinny, nerdy guys that were the look. And there weren't no races connected, no nothing. So it was cattle call. It was just everyone was there. And you sat for 6-7 hours. And the thing is, they call you the day before. You have an audition tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like last night, 5:30, I got an audition for this morning. I'm like, whoa, people. So I'm working in between. I have other things arranged, but okay, well, let me see if I can get there. And literally, if there's not a line, you are there for 2 minutes and you're gone.
It is that.
And it's your own petrol. You don't get paid for that. Until you're through the 3rd round, you're on the short list, and otherwise you don't get a cent. And that's on you, and nobody sees that part. They just think, oh, no, it's easy, come on. No, it's not. twice now to be on set like 3 o'clock in the morning. And nobody tells you that for the movie we shot through the evening, at 12 to 12, so the evening, 12 hours. And in the next morning I had to fly back because I had work. So I landed at 8 o'clock, I flew at 6, 8 I landed, and at 10 o'clock I had to do a crit lesson for one of my students. So it's like this, and nobody sees that.
Nobody
they just
sees
see
that.
the nice,
Yeah.
oh cool, you look so nice, you
Yeah.
know people. No, I don't know people. Or you famous. No, you're not famous.
Yeah.
Like, I'm normal. There's
Yeah.
nothing changed who I am, or I'm so JP.
I love that. How have you been able to juggle as you're speaking? One, maybe let's start with the fact that sometimes you get a brief the night before. What are some of the methods that you use to get the words into your system so that you are ready for the 2 minutes in the morning?
Yeah, sure. I like to use a mirror.
Yeah.
And when I get angry at myself, I shout at myself in the mirror. And emotions make you remember better. So luckily through psychology, I learned a lot of the tips
Technique,
and tricks
yeah.
on study skills. So
Yeah.
I use it a lot. So the more senses you use, the better. So speaking out loud,
Yes.
filming yourself. So we did a lot of self-tapes, especially through COVID.
Yes.
So you do that. I now still have self-tapes to do. It's awesome. And then you don't have to drive in, so it's great. But you don't have any director. So it makes it a bit more difficult.
It
But
does.
and the lighting and like
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that. So you just set up your phone somewhere and hope for the best. Your agent guides you very nicely, I must say. We have a lot of training and stuff through them. But you're on your own, so you must make the story in your head. You must get those words in, and you're part by part. So I try to do it piece by piece. And because I stay alone, I record the other people's voices as well.
Yes.
So then I play that on another phone,
Yeah.
and then I speak in between. So I have to time it as well. But
Yeah.
that makes me learn better.
Yeah.
Because I know what to do, when to react to what,
Yes.
when the pauses are for me, so the dramatic pausing can be there and all of that stuff. Otherwise, you rush it through, and it makes fun. But then you have to edit and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I think using a mirror, using your old drama techniques, go back and make an exclamation on a part that you have to speak loud, or a pause, a dramatic pause where there needs to be breathing or whatever, that you have those, that it doesn't just become just another audition. But that you can actually put yourself in that person's feet, in their shoes, and imagine how much they think when this happens, whatever happens. And we have weird stuff. For one commercial, we had to eat Vienna's once. And then they're like, nah, make it look nice, like you're enjoying it. And I'm like, I'm on my
It's a
Vienna now. It's really not nice anymore. The first one, yeah, okay,
Yes.
but oh my word, really number 5 now. And then it's like, come, eat. And for chicken, we had a spit bucket. So you eat and you spit out, you eat, you spit out. 34 burgers, we took bites off, spat out. And the nice part was the camera. So you see the glycerine on the cheese and all the nice pretty stuff. You get dry bunya at the back. And you're like, nice. It's not like
I've always thought about these, commercials on how does it work. Because I know when I was shooting a piece, but this was not a commercial, we had eaten, like you got in the morning on set, you have breakfast. So when you have the scene with the food, literally it's just decor because you just like, that's, at home, you're like, why didn't he finish the juice? But in real life, you're like, no, I already had eaten before the scene, so I didn't really need to drink that. But I wondered how it worked with food commercial. So they give you the dry bun. You just bite the bun.
The nasty stuff, the nice, pretty painted stuff for that way, and you can't eat the paint, so that's that way. But no, and then, you make it look very lacquer, but inside you're like, I believe, no, not this for the rest of my life. But no, I did steers as well, about 6 years before that, and I was literally in the background. And because I'm not even on screen for 2 seconds, but because I was in steers, I couldn't do the Chicken Licken commercial from that time. And they asked me to audition, but I couldn't do it because I was in steers. So I had to wait 6 years later for them to say, okay, here's a Chicken Licken audition for you.
Imagine.
So but no, you don't eat Chicken Licken on set. You don't eat steers on set. No, you have caterers, but they're amazing. I must be honest with you. We get food in between. They make you snack widgets, and like on movie sets the whole day. There are snacks outside. They bring you coffee, tea, whatever you want. They really, especially if you're a cast character.
Yes, the main character, like one of the cast, yes. Not just on the day.
Then there's makeup, there's personal people giving you gowns if it's cold and making sure you don't get
Yes.
sick. And yeah, because we
Yes.
all had COVID on set. Well, I think we did, but because we shot in 2021, so it was rough. And you have 2 days off, and then you have to carry on. So because they're on budget and they don't have time, and so it's not like oh get better soon and come back.
Was this everyone wears masks?
No, this was for Hans to Kiribikon.
All right,
Yeah.
all right, all
Yeah, yeah.
right. So, but it only came out recently, on the 23rd of September, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about it. Hans Stiek di Rubicon Uer.
Yes.
Such a beautiful, because for me, when I saw Obas, because I
Yes.
recognize him from 70 Land, and I like the comedy and working with the elderly,
Yes.
and then your character who's just looks like were having a lot of fun. How did that role come about? Was it also the same way with the Facebook situation?
Yeah.
All right.
Same thing. So a very cool director. I auditioned for a lot of years ago for
Yeah.
another movie of him, Vaselinki, and I didn't get it. So I
Okay.
thought, oh, I suck, I'm bad, the whole feeling of disappointment, rejection. And then he contacted me and he's like, you know what, I saw you in that audition and I knew I'm going to use you one
One
time.
day.
Can you audition for this? And I was like, are you for real? Like, what? And they, Renee and Cornay van Rooyen, so
Yes.
they are well known for the CakeNet movies.
Yes.
They won a lot of awards. So then I was like, wow, that's going to be big. So they tell me who's going to be the cast, and literally one day it felt like Seven Delon. Like, Paula was sitting in the back of the car driving there. And then when we got there, then Obos was there, and I was like, okay, is this for real? Like, where am I? Is this Seven Delon? But
Yeah.
it was amazing. And the elderly were awesome because they have so much experience.
That's
so I learned
beautiful.
so much from them. I felt like a complete rookie. I did. And they always introduced me as a newcomer for the movie because my previous stuff were all commercials or a
Yes.
small part in a movie where I'm literally so much makeup you can't even see it's me.
Yeah.
In Swartwater, I was literally, I think, a minute, if it's that long on set. So it's quite, it was way different, but I learned incredibly much. So the people on there had theatre work. Toby Cornier did a lot of the Janice Honeyman productions. I mean, he has done movies since long ago. So it was so nice to learn from them, and they see you as a normal actor person. They don't see you as a new coming person.
Yeah.
And that was just like, I was in awe. I took selfies with everyone. Yes, I'm that person. I totally did the I'm a
fanning.
fan.
Yeah.
Oh, super. It's just bad.
That is beautiful, man.
And they just accepted it. They're so cool.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, it does look like the character really, you're having fun and you did the work. But I also think there's so much to learn about being on set. Even with Swartwaters, where your screen time was like a minute, but it took a whole day to be there.
Yeah.
You know, and people don't know that. They just still have to show up the whole day. You still have to sit through until your moment comes. And your moment, just because it's 60 seconds on screen, doesn't mean it was 60 seconds making it.
No.
So how do you reconcile with yourself? Do you ever relate to characters as big characters and small characters, or do you just see them as characters?
Well, I like to see them as just a character.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, especially for commercials, I don't have words.
Yes.
So then it's very difficult to give him personality, to know, but who is that?
Yeah.
So then you have to, in your mind, make up this person. And it's not only this is my day thing, but this is you.
Yes.
You have his whole life. Who are you today? You have to portray and do justice to that character. So yeah, like with Esmeralda, it was completely not who I am as a person, and it was so interesting to like put myself in his feet and to do all things. Yeah, there's some parts like caring for elderly or whatever. Some parts are there, but the rest is not you.
It's not you.
And then people tell you, make a joke. I'm
Yeah.
not funny. Like, I don't
That
do
character
jokes,
was
like,
funny, yeah.
The character's funny. Yeah, the stuff gets scripted for you. And as you
Yeah.
say, you're there the whole day. Like for Chicken Licken, it's the whole cut of it is 1 minute. And literally we shot 3 days.
You
Three
see?
full days.
Yeah.
From 6 o'clock in the morning till at least 6, 7, 8 at night. The next morning you're back on set, and sometimes it's earlier, sometimes it's still later. We had a lighting thing the one night, and then they cut out. The one night we shot until I think 12:30. They didn't use that last scene at all. And you're like,
Imagine, but at least you got the pay, you know?
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
get the pay. It's nice.
Yeah. Let's talk about how you've dealt with money.
Yeah.
Because you started doing commercials when we were in high school. And that meant, I mean, commercials generally pay pretty decent, you know?
Yeah.
And some, especially if you're doing lead or prominent character, they pay really decent. So, what's your relationship with money?
Yeah. So for any actor, I'll say, please don't try and do it full time.
Okay.
I know now, working with the people who were there on set with me, the elderly, who have been acting in how many movies and series, and they were struggling through COVID. That we don't get pension, we don't get any of the nice things that a normal job do, and you have to pay rent. You must get rent at a place. I mean, and how are you going to get rent if you don't have a full-time income? You
That's
don't.
true.
So yeah, I'm in a fortunate position. My first agent took about 40%.
Ooh,
So I
daylight robbery,
yeah, you did your work.
40%.
You did everything, and then you see the amount you're supposed to get, and then now after taxes and after all of that, then now you don't get that. So yeah, so I always believed I had to get my plan A is my day job that I also love and do to generate monthly income, and then this is my side. This is my side thing. So yeah, I'm very fortunate that my bosses are always very accommodating of me going for auditions, going for shoots. Most of my shoots now are weekends. But I mean, at my time teaching, I sometimes had to shoot through the evening,
Yeah.
and in the morning go and teach again. And then you have makeup on and your eyes are thick and you're tired, but you carry on. In Portugal, I drove to shoot through the evening. The next morning, I wrote an exam. Nobody sees that. And yeah, you get to pay like months after, but yeah, it's definitely worth it. It's definitely fun, but it's rough. And you don't, as I say, for auditions you do in between, you don't get paid. So that's your own petrol, that's your own time, you have to go sit there. And nobody pays you a cent for that. So now my agent is awesome. They don't take any monthly fees.
Yes.
They take so little, like 5%, if you get something.
Yes.
They do theatre, they do music, they do voiceovers, they do everything, commercials, movies. So I'm so fortunate to have them by my side, and I've been with them now for about 12 years, from when they started up. So it's been a journey, but it's an incredible one. And they teach us. During COVID, they did motivational speaking for us
Yes.
and kept us going because they
It was
knew
tough. It
we
was a
all
tough
needed
time
it.
for a lot of creators.
Yeah.
So I like what you're saying. I know that each of us will have our own journeys, and not everybody wants to hear what you are saying about maybe considering this as a part time, because people feel like if you're gonna be part time and you want to be great at it, you're gonna struggle. Because to be great, you need to invest and take time, you know. But you are saying no. I'm finding other ways. I'm using my psychology. I'm using my coaching. I'm using all these other elements to bring and pour into this moment. But I'm also not. If this moment doesn't happen, I'm not like at a disadvantage because I still get to eat. I still get to pay rent. I still get to do all these other things. If there was an opportunity that would, for example, be a soapy that is long running, would you then consider even dropping your career to do something like that, or you would not jump on a path to take on a full-time role?
Sure, that's a rough one. So I do think currently I really love my job.
Yeah.
So I like to do more things like mini-series than a
Yes.
full-time series, or movies. That's a certain amount of time that I can take off and do my things. And when I get back, I can still do my daytime job because I really love it as well. I studied for very long to do it, but I'm so glad I did. And now I'm enjoying it so much. I don't think I will take a full-time,
Yeah.
like long series thing,
Yeah.
especially looking at the people at Seven Alone. I mean, the funding is gone. They have to
Yes.
stop working. And now they are typecast for a certain character.
Yeah.
So one of my friends were on a very popular series, and when he wanted to go out, everybody remembered him. So then for 2.5 years, he had nothing. Because everybody were like, but you were that guy in that series. And that's tough to get out of that stereotype, typecasting as well. So now he's in a completely different role. He was a teenager in the new thing he's doing, where there he was already an adult. So Yeah, so you have to juggle in between and see what you can do. Like, for example, because of psychology, I'm not allowed to do like many like alcohol commercials or things that's bad for the family brand. So yeah, so there comes some stuff where you have to choose your battles, and I still go for audition, for example, for in case the director will see me, and then I can just later discuss with them. Okay, so usually I like to do this more or that more, then they can be like, oh, okay, we can use you here or there. So that you don't break a connection, but that you're willing to do it. And then even I call HPCSA and say, hey, are you okay with this? Is it okay if I do this and this and this commercials? So you see what you can do. They don't promote the things that are seen as wrong for the profession.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of
I
T's and
didn't know that
C's.
there was so many T's and C's, terms and conditions, and also so much that you have to take into account because I would be like, but it's just a beer advert. But no, you're a professional and your face is out there. And if we're going to call you as ENCA to speak and advise as a professional counselor, and people are like, isn't he the one from Savannah? Then
Yeah.
it kind of contradicts that. I didn't know that. And in situations like that, you will always choose your career because you spent that much years and time, investing in that.
I just think also the stability for the
Yes.
pension, for the rent, for those
Yeah.
things. I mean, you have to. You will love to, you want to do a lot of things, but you must be wise about what choices you make for future as well. Because this is a great once-off opportunity, but till when? I mean, even Trevor Noah is back now. So great opportunities, and he was huge and great. I think he got a lot of money, so he's good. But what now? Can he now do something new, something real? It's gonna take some time for him to rebuild up and do his things this side now. I actually taught a girl, her name was Whitney, at a school, and her sister is Tyler. So Tyler opened now for Chris
Yes.
Brown. She's back now in South Africa at the neighborhood festival this weekend. And I mean, this is all due to my other jobs that I meet these people, and they also know agents. They also know directors. So it actually connects you so well in the end that they all just intertwine so nicely. I think I'm really blessed because of it.
That is beautiful. Psychology, do you always feel like you have to psychoanalyze people?
Never,
But do people think
no.
that, I mean, probably when people start talking, your mind starts going to places.
Um, Sometimes to conceptualize them, to understand
Okay.
them. I'm like, okay, I try to bend their building blocks. What is
Yes.
this person made of? And where they come from, that I can try and understand their view. So I do think that, yes, but no, there are some people think we can read minds now.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
You're not reading minds.
Yeah, no, especially girls.
Yeah.
No, it's not happening. It's really difficult to do that.
Yeah.
So now I do a lot of therapy, I do a lot of assessment, but when I'm off, I'm off.
Yeah.
Then I fill my cup.
Yeah, you fill your cup. What
Yeah.
does fill your cup?
Sure. So I am a hockey umpire.
Okay.
So I still referee a lot, South African hockey, a lot. I really enjoy it. So I'm with Southerns, Northerns, and Easterns hockey, where I help out where I can to also develop. So again, development with the teaching. So yeah, and empowering kids wherever I go and people. So that's kind of again how it intertwines, but that fulfills me. Family, obviously, family does. Friends always does. That fills me. So yeah, going home and knowing there are other people and making time for them as well, it's very important. It's so important to stay you, and then you can give again.
Yeah.
That you're not drained because the first week I started, I had about 5 kids who wanted to commit suicide in that 1 week.
Yeah.
And your textbooks don't prepare you for that. They say there
Yeah.
might come one and what you must do with one. No, it's 5 different people at the same time, and you must manage and you must carry on and not let that drain you. So I had to fill my cup. So on weekends I did hockey and went out with friends, went to family, and that fills me.
That's beautiful. What is the first thing you did with your first commercial payment? So, as we're speaking about your profession as a psychologist, normally when we get characters in the acting space, there are different processes. Sometimes I always say I build my character from the inside out. I look for the emotion and collect to the truth of it. And then sometimes if I have to be external, I will look from the feet. How does he walk? What rhythm and stuff like that. with your background in psychology and the work that you do, what's your process with characters?
So for me, it's very much, as you said, from the inside out, the
Yeah.
feelings.
Yeah.
So how will this person feel when this happens?
Yeah.
In their life, how will this character react when this happens, or when this curveball happens in their life, in their storyline? How will they make it believable? That you sell a believable character and not just acting, because acting can be fake and you don't want to fake. And also the director guide you very well. And yes, sometimes you get a nice little description of who you're supposed to be or this character. So that really helps. But to put myself in their shoes, to put myself in their mind.
Yeah.
And at the one we shot now, I was in an old age home as well.
Yes.
And there was some dementia clients in the one old age home that we shot. So I was like, hey, I'm back home, yeah. Like, I've worked with people who had the diagnosis before, and they would come and ask for tea while we're busy shooting, because they don't know we're shooting at their location. And it's like, okay, let's let them back and explain to them what's happening. And that was fun. And working with the elderly as well, if they forget and they get angry, then how can we help them? They had less lines per day. We shot over a bit longer time period. Things like that, because you can't also drain the real person. Otherwise, it's going to show in the character.
Yeah.
So, I do think, as you said, the mind, body, and soul works all the way together through character, but also in real life. So.
Do you psychoanalyze your characters?
Yeah, sometimes I do, especially if they have a background.
Yeah.
Yes, it's always like a. So for her masks, we had a cool thing where I was a dream that came alive, and then I'm a horror character who kills people. But through that as well, I had to understand who I am. Why am I killing? And the lady who did the dreams or who experienced the dreams, why? What part am I playing in her life? That I am now a baddie in real, in a dream. So I definitely are. That is the most fun, and also to see the character development.
Yeah.
To see the journey they're on, and to see how they grow. So this Hans Tekere Rubicon Ori is based on a book.
Yes.
And there's a series of books. So I really hope we're gonna make another one or two.
Yeah.
But in that, I want the character to develop. I want him to grow as well. So I had to say goodbye to him for now, but I'm gonna pick him up.
Yeah, in
When,
another future.
if there's a future,
yeah. Is he in the other books, that character?
He is.
Oh,
He's
so then
luckily
there's hope. There's hope.
I hope. I hope, yeah.
There's hope. Let's get into just, we're still speaking. I want to really go back to the question about money, because we have different relationships with money. Depending on where we grew up, our psychology around money is informed by our families, access to resources and stuff. So when you, for example, get your first commercial in high school and it pays you 10,000, what conversations are you having at home with your parents about that?
Yeah, so until 18, your parents actually come with you on set
Yes.
to see that everything is fine and they don't hurt you or whatever. There's lawyers on set to see that all the children's rights are being done and that you don't get hurt and stuff. But literally, my parents are so awesome always. They are always like, it's your money, you worked for it, so we're not taking a cent from it. So when I was younger, they had to drive me to all the places. And they had to make sure I'm there on time. They had to organize with school, that I get back to school and not miss out on exams and things like that. So it was real hectic time management, hectic. But
they gave you the money to spend as you wanted and willed.
they did, but I am a saver. So I saved a lot. I actually, with my first commercial money, I paid most of the stuff in my sister and I stayed outside in a little flat when I was at university.
Yes.
So then I actually used that money for furniture and a microwave, just the basics. So that's actually what I use mine for. And then luckily while I was in Porch for my first degree, I had 2 more commercials during that time. So then it helps, So then at the end of the day, I was so fortunate with Chicken Licken to pay my honors myself.
Wow.
And then during my masters, I could also, I really got nice bursaries as well from UJ. I was really fortunate. But I had to travel to Soweto. I had to work in between. So I must say it's really sustained me nicely to have that little bit of extra. So I spoiled myself a bit with a car recently. But otherwise, I don't
Yeah.
like to use a lot of money on me. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
I love your car, by the way.
oh,
It's
thank
just, it's a car. It's a car. But well, maybe we had conversations about the car outside. I just want to dig deeper. You're saying that you're a saver, your money is for you. Also, your journey allowed you to go to Soweto. Because for me, today's episode is important for the actor who's a cashier at Pick and Pay, for the actor who is an administrator at a school, for an actor who works in as a CEO in some company. You are saying that there's a possibility in being those things and still doing your career. You were teaching and studying and coaching and still pursuing your the art of acting. Let's talk about the discipline element of it. And also, do you then have a life? Where do you date when things are like that? Where do you go smell the roses? Because then it's hectic. What can an actor in that situation? I know right now I am studying, I am teaching, I am coaching, and then I have to find, I'm shooting here, and I still have to find a way to practice my craft. And it's been, I've not yet found a formula for me that works. So I want to know, what tools would you give us who are having 9 to 5 professions?
So I like what you say, it doesn't work for me.
Yes.
So I do think it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
And what works for you won't necessarily work for me. And my time management is so crucial, but I always have time for what ifs in my daily planning.
Yeah.
I use a calendar on my phone the whole time that tells me when what is happening. I leave 15 minutes open for if traffic, for if whatever. But then I also make time for JP time, where I do have time to go and date. I do have time where I plan a date properly and not just say, hey, let's go quickly wherever.
And ice cream.
Yes, because that's all I could manage to organize now. But I do believe, and I stand by this from school, the more you do, the more you can do. And it's actually been proven kids who do culture and sport at school achieve higher academics. And that's what I want people to know, because parents always think, let's punish my kid and take away the sport or take away the culture. And I'm like, no, you're doing this kid injustice because it actually helps him.
It does. It does.
It
We were
really
those
does.
kids that did quite a bit. We would be at school from the morning until very late, on the sports field, in the culture, in the academics as well, and we still were able to survive and turn out not too bad as adults.
Yeah,
We
not too bad.
survived. We survived a little bit. As a psychologist, on set now, actors deal with a lot of. We play roles that are traumatic sometimes, that makes us, for the role, sometimes for the scene, we end up killing ourselves to get the emotions for the character so that they can live. And they live in the movie, but we die in real life.
Yes.
Let's talk mental health, because we've seen a lot of actors and creatives committing suicide. We've seen them, our community being abusing substances quite a bit. Actors, when it breaks in between, everybody's in the smoking room.
Yeah.
When we're having Christmas parties or any party, everybody's drinking as if there's no tomorrow. And these are our mechanisms that we're using to deal with our numbing our pain, our scars, and the places we constantly are visiting. What is a healthy lifestyle looking like when it comes to mental health for an individual? What should it look like?
So you're so correct in saying that. I have 2 friends now. The one who actually came for therapy afterwards
Yes.
because of one of her very traumatic roles that she played, and she was brilliant in it, but it was rough on her as a person. And the other one who actually now has a one-man show where he's playing 5 clients in a therapy setting. So he has different diagnoses for every client, and he's doing the one-man show now in Pretoria. And I think we learn a lot through it. And he's very open about his mental health as well. He speaks a lot about it to also say, hey, we are still people. And your mental health it's so important to uphold. And the roles can take its toll, but you must learn to distinguish yourself from that character. And as I said, now to say sometimes goodbye to them. Not to say they're dying, but to say I can get back to you when I need to.
Yes.
but I'm still me.
Oh.
But with that, I have to love me. And I have to be okay with me because yes, we have hectic hours. We have a lot of stress because of finances and South Africa. But you have to maintain who you are and your own sanity through it all. And I do think a lot of people, as you say, went to the substance abuse a lot, and not only substance use.
Yeah.
And I mean, even like Chester from Lincoln Park who committed suicide, and what a guy, what
Yeah.
a voice. And it's so sad. He died way too early,
Yeah.
like way too early. Amy Winehouse. But you know what? I do believe that if you speak up, you can get through it. And have friends, talk to anyone. I'm not saying go to a therapist or psychologist or whatever, but speak to someone about it. And they can help you and guide you. And that's why Sadak and Lifeline is for free, there for everybody to help. And they can guide you on where you need to go. And sometimes you just need that talk and it's okay.
Yeah.
But have that talk. Don't keep it in.
So one would be having the talk, but what other prescriptive, not necessarily prescriptive, but ways, for example, if I said I wanted to lose weight, then you would say, okay, go to the gym, watch what you eat, and so forth. What can we say for a person who says, I want to make sure that my mental health is always healthy? Like it's always at a space where I'm not mentally sick.
Yeah.
How do I stay healthy?
Okay, so definitely, so talking to others,
Yes.
not keeping it to yourself, definitely. Even if you journal, even if you write whatever, I always say be silly and laugh at yourself. So sing in the shower, don't dance because you can slip.
Not in the shower.
Not in the shower. But do silly stuff where you can laugh at yourself. Play with animals. Animals really make us all feel better. It keeps off dopamine, cortisol, that you feel better for the day. So I solely believe in that. But also make time for things that you love to do.
Yes.
Make time for the fun stuff in your life. Hold on to religion.
Yes.
If you're religious, whatever religion you
Yes.
are, but hold on to that.
Faith.
Because there you can also have a lot of support.
I
A lot of
love
support.
that. I love that.
And it sucks that you sometimes can't to your character show any of it or promote any of it. Even as psychologists, I'm not allowed to speak about my religion if it
Yes.
doesn't come out or whatever, and there's sometimes
Yes.
not a need for it. But yeah, sometimes it will come up where you get support network for people in their religious places, wherever they are. So yeah, I do think that's very important. And then also have your quiet time too. If that is through listening to music or doing yoga or going to walk, I mean, we're now here in Randburg, beautiful Emirates just here. It's for free. You don't have to pay, and it's gorgeous. So when I stayed here in Northcliffe, I went there so many times just to walk, just to hear the water, just to clear my mind. And it's those small things that really make such a huge impact.
It does.
Do your sports.
Yeah.
Have a routine if you like routine. Because if you need that, structure it. But have time for what ifs, because it might happen. And know that days are going to get tough. It's not always
Can it be roses?
rosy.
Yeah.
No. And be prepared for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it sometimes happens all at once.
Yes.
But then we
Yes.
take one step at a time. So I always use the mountain analogy. Take one step at a time.
Yeah, to get to the top. But also when you get to the top of the one mountain, it's about you have to summit the next. You know,
Yes.
you're always going to the next.
But you learn some skills on your way there.
You do. You learn how to climb differently, you know, you learn how to breathe differently, you learn how to cope in the different altitudes, you know.
Your tools, yeah.
Yeah, those tools are important. And I really appreciate the fact that you're saying take your time. I think in the career for actors that are now full-time actors, we deal with a lot of rejection. It's audition after audition. So you can sometimes spend a year without getting a gig. And then sometimes you do get gigs, but people don't think those gigs are big because they're not on TV, because those gigs are not famous. So you are working, because I look at my journey as an individual, there's never been a year where I was never employed. There was always something, but sometimes it's just in the beginning of the year. But then that means for the rest of the other 8 months, 9 months, you have nothing.
Yeah.
You know, or you have nothing for 10 clean months, and right at the end of the year, you get that one gig, you know?
Yeah.
And in all those seasons, you have to find ways to deal with your mental health, with yourself, with your disappointment, with everybody else that's expecting a lot from you, you know? And I think for me, spirituality played a big role. Family support played a big role. Having friends played a big role. But I do think that we don't have enough conversations about healthy. Even when we speak mental health, it's always about depression.
Yeah.
And then, so we're already going to sickness. We're not going to the positive parts of
Yes.
it. Because to speak about mental health is saying, how do we stay healthy? How do you keep your mind healthy? And I think we're always just looking for the big word, because now it's the name that is, it's the theme that is in everybody's mind. And people use it loosely.
Yeah.
You know, you have a bad day and you're like, yo, you're like, that D word doesn't belong here.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful for that. And I think we need to equip ourselves. How do you, as a psychologist, take care of yourself? Because you are often dealing with people going through so many things, and you still have a busy life. Yes, you say you make time for you, but what are some of the things that you do to now center JP, and get back to you as a person?
So I think for me, the development, to see my development in my clients,
Yeah.
that just, even if it's
a
a little
reward.
bit, like,
Yeah.
I had a client who was severely under autism spectrum, but oh my word, when he stand up and wants to speak in front of a group, and I'm like, what's going to happen? It's amazing. That feeling, that small thing meant so much to me. When I keep somebody alive for another month or 2 or 3, or after 5, 6 years, I hear this person keeps going, and I know they were suicidal at the stage. That feeds me. And luckily with the lecturing, when I see my students doing great, when their first assignment, is so bad, and after all the feedback and stuff, that takes you so long to mark, but when you see it, they listened, they learned, then it's like, yes, please, something is happening here. And that's awesome. And then one day they become psychologists, and they're like, I was a lecturer, I played a part in their journey, and that's it. I mean, I sat the other day at audition, and one of the scholars who I taught LO for came there, and he was like, oh, hello, sir, so we auditioned for the same role. And I was like, really? What role are you? And he's like, your role. I'm like, no, you're not. He's like, yes, I am. So, and then it's like, but look how far he come. Because he was still in a school where they had plays, but it was small. They're not known as a culture school. They're not known as a good school. And look where he's at. So, no, those things, to see the people pursuing their passion and growing, even with the career guidance of the psychology, to see them then blooming in something that you suggested, hey, this might be cool for you. And then they do it and they're like blossoming and they're like, yes, please. This is why I do it. So I do think that feeds me. Family, definitely. Religion, definitely.
Yes.
Singing in church, it's lekker.
Yeah.
I love it. The praise and worship is very lekker.
Yeah. Do you sing on stage or in the crowd? Oh, in the crowd.
No, very far back in the crowd, yes. But like it's a big church, so they can't even hear me sing. So yeah,
that's
it's like
beautiful. And what do you still want to do in terms of acting? What role do you still want to play? Where do you still want to see yourself in this creative space?
my dream is a baddie. So luckily in this movie,
to be a baddie.
yes, I started to have a bit of the baddie part in me
Yeah.
in this movie, but I would love to play the villain.
Yeah.
And I would love to do musical theatre where
Yes.
I can sing, but as a baddie. And not be seen as a skinny guy who's supposed to be a tenor. And I'm
Yeah.
not a tenor. So, because usually the big guys are the bass guys,
Yes.
I'm not fit that profile. So, I hope for something like that and then one day.
And if not, if they don't cast it, then you could write it, because now you're making the
Sure.
money with the psychology.
Oh, you see.
Then you take that money, you cast yourself in the role that you need. You know, because I've got there's a young actor in South Africa, Temba, and I really want to bring him here. He deals with that. Because he's married in real life. He's got a wife. He's an adult. But he's always finding the conflict, because they in TV and in this country they can't see the adult in him. So he said he wants to create movies where he can play the love interest, because he's like, no, but I do get girlfriends. I've been in relationships. I do date. Why can't I write that for myself? Why can't I create the world, So I guess that could be your next assignment. You can give yourself
I leave
that.
it for you, creative writer people.
Just bring the money, we'll write the project.
But that's really the thing. You have to create work for yourself.
Yeah.
You really have to.
Yeah.
And go find work. I did emceeing stuff a lot of stuff for free. And then you get noticed by someone.
Yeah.
I did workshops now for the GDE, for the Department of Education.
Yeah.
Why? Because I did other workshops at lecturing. Why did I do that? Because I did acting. I can speak in front of people. So it's these small things that all just come together in the end. But never give up. and as you say, create something for you. I was with a guy who was full-time acting, but he couldn't get anything. He sat with me for 6 years for auditions, didn't get any role. So he had to start a day job. He had to find something else. His parents said, really, it's time now. And he had to look after himself and start his real life and adulting and all of that great stuff. And he came to realization, hey, it's not only going to be rosy and in front of a screen. And after 6 years, he's got his role. And then he started to write stuff, and he loved that more than being in front of the screen. So he found his passion there. So, yeah, definitely. And be on set or in life in general, just be kind to everyone. Be nice to everyone. Because you never know who's going to come back and be like, hey, can't you help me here? Or can't you do this for me? Or I want to use you in this. And I feel that's so important. The other day I had a call back. I didn't even do the first audition. But it's because I did a commercial for this director at a different time. And he was like, I think you can do this. And it was a female role. And I was like, what is this? He's like, yo, I know your agent didn't send it to you because it says female. But I thought you can be funny as a male in this role. I was like, okay. So I actually auditioned for it and I didn't even know about it. And those are the things because you're kind. Because on set you don't go sit to one side and like, oh, I'm so cool or whatever. I mean, I met Casper in your vest on one set. I was like fanning there and I took photos of his car, man. Like, yeah, it was a beautiful car. And yeah, he was almost late. And so I was waiting for him because my part was done, but I was like, I want to meet this guy today. And it's small things like that that just, it makes it. Like, what did you do today? Well, I met Casper Nilvers today. Like, yes, I did. I literally took a photo with him and then he went and did a shoot. So I didn't see him ever again. I didn't speak, but hey,
you have a photo. You saw him, so, you took a photo, you interacted, and that what matters.
I said hello and Clark. Yes, all before morning 8 o'clock. And then my day started. So, yeah, and I think that's so important. Just be kind to everyone on the road, wherever you go. Because even, let's say you're in a car accident, you bump someone, whatever, and you get out, don't get angry, don't get mean. What if that person is the person you saw Charlize Theron throwing a tantrum in the bank? You know, what if that's the person you can say, hey, I have a job at my place, come, look here. And do stuff together. Make friends in the industry, in other industries, and see how you can help each other. I'm busy now. There's this one company called Drizzles. So they do puppet shows to create awareness for mental health and for some awareness, making things like the LGBTQ and so on. And I'm now doing the parent workshops. So yeah, I do think it's important to mix with people, be kind to everyone, but to collaborate with all your friends, with people you know, to see how you can create work together. And then even if it's through a workshop somewhere or through do an acting workshop and you go and speak to people about that or whatever, but work with the people you have. Maybe you know some teachers in schools and you get the schools together and together you can make something. I mean, there's so many opportunities. You must just go and look for it and create it yourself.
No, I agree that there are so many opportunities, and I think with the creative space, we sometimes just limited to I'm an actor, or even a psychologist or a doctor. They say I'm a doctor, I'm a psychologist. But no, today in this day and age, you could be a doctor, but you could be an advisor on another show. You could be a consultant on another project. You could be this and that. So there's so many opportunities that we get to then play around, and I think that's what's important. But also for me, I found that it's important to know that you can't do it all. You know, some things you have to choose that, okay, in this season of my life, this is what I'm going to prioritize. And then the next season, I'll come back and do this next thing, you know?
And when you say no, so talk to your agent and tell them, hey, for a couple of months, I'm going to be busy with this and this, so please, I can't go to all auditions for whatever. But let them know that you don't just decline and then they're like, okay, no, we don't think we want you anymore, or you're dead on our books or whatever. But you explain to them and have a good relationship with them to make them understand. I know a dentist in Durban, and she's a model, and she's also, she's on a bus as well, her face, and she's a dentist. But she does now a lot of commercials and things as well. And as you say, it doesn't mean that you have this job that you can't.
And then you can't be everything else. Because in real life, we really are that. You are a brother, a friend, a teacher, a mentor. We play so many roles in real life that I don't get it why in our careers we stop ourselves from playing those many roles, you know? What has been some of the most challenging parts of your journey in the creative sector?
Yeah. I think if you get rejected for like 2 years in a row, that's rough.
Yes.
There's like, what is wrong with me?
Yes.
And because it's on a look, because it's on, like, am I bad? Don't I have skill? You know, so yeah, then you start to self-doubt. Am I on the right journey? Should I leave it? Should I just go? Is this chapter done, you know? So yeah, then you ask yourself. And then, yeah, in the one movie, I had to have full contact lenses.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even use normal contact lenses, so I wear glasses. But it was full, so only your pupil is open, the rest of your eye is black.
Yeah.
And it took 3 ladies in a bathroom to get that into my eye every evening. And then the makeup gets cried off, and then I have to redo that because I had a bald cap on. So it was 4 hours of makeup every night before you start your shoot. And yeah, while that, the next morning you have to teach, and then your eyes are red, and because there was a whole contact lens in, and yeah, so I do think that was quite challenging. But I must say, I love special effects.
Yeah.
I love it. So if they explode things, or if there's like in the commercials, I never drove a truck, never in my life. It's all fake or movie magic, you know. How they do that? Oh, I love that. I love that. I imagine what is on the green screen, because it's a green or a blue screen, and you're like, oh, you have to read. What am I reading? What is there? Because it's just a blue screen for you. So how many lines are there? There's no lines. There's nothing. It's a blue screen. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. The tree's not a real tree. You know, it's like the seats aren't concrete. Even you lift it up like this, and they pack it up, and we go to the next place. And I'm like, what? So yeah, I love that part of it. It's awesome for me. In cars, and that's difficult as well. So in the last movie I did, driving in a car and speaking with cues, because you cannot look out where we are on the road.
Yeah.
But at certain places, you're supposed to say certain things for certain timing, and you can't sound like you're rushed, and the camera's here in your face, because there's so little space in the whatever you drive in, and then you have to say it the same way every time, and there are people here, and if you mess up, they have to drive around again, and they only rented out that road for a certain amount of time. If there doesn't come a lot of cars past you, then they have to queue cars and make rain for you if it doesn't rain. You know, so yeah, so I do think it's very challenging to drive, to have the actions and the talking all at the same time without looking at cues and like, oh, now, and then do something. So yeah, that is quite challenging for me, but I had time on the flight to learn my words.
Yeah.
So yeah, Joburg to Cape Town, I flew about 8 times, up and down, then just for wardrobe, then for just reading through, table read through. So yeah, on the
I love
plane,
those trips because
really,
you also get paid for that makeup test, and you come back and you know, and but it's inconveniencing when you've got a full career like yourself, because then you're like, I need to fly out after school, I need to do this, but generally, when you don't have much going on, you are excited for that trip.
And I lectured on set. So I put clothes over my clothes, you're not allowed to show your set clothes until the movie's out. So I threw another jacket on, and I was lecturing, and I give them an activity, and I go back, and I shoot a part, and I come back, hey, and I carry on.
On Zoom?
On Zoom, we did it, so they allowed me to do 2 lessons from Zoom. And then I came back the week after, and we're back in class, and carried on as if nothing happened. So,
what kind of conversations are you having with your bosses to get these rights? Because I know a lot of people are like, does he have privileges or whatever, you know? What kind of conversations, and how could you advise people who are employed but want to take some time off to go do other things? How do we approach that conversation?
So I always reframe it in a way to say it's going to actually benefit the company for me doing that. Because it's publicity for us as well. You can say that I'm working here, and then you can say, oh, it's a guy from the movie or the whatever. So it benefits us both. And I try to work with my directors and my agent to say, can we please make it on a weekend? Or can I please go in the afternoon for an audition? Even if they say it's 9 to 11 in the morning, then I ask, can I please come at 1 or 2? Then I try to just miss a half hour of work and not a full day of work. So, because you only have your set amount of days for leave and stuff as any job. So, and you can't be negative towards your job. You can't also.
Yes, because that's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
That's your bread and butter. That's your stable, you know?
And I have kids who if they have emergency stuff, what numbers they can call.
Yes.
You know, if I'm not there in that case, or if I can't be there. And yeah, you talk that from the start with them. Hey, if I'm not there, this is what I can do. Step A, B, C. There's the poster of numbers. This is what I can do. This is what I can do. So, yeah, I do think it does help and benefit your boss as well, but you must also, from your side, try to accommodate them as much as you can because they are your boss, and they do give you a great job that you can be yourself and enjoy
And
yourself
also
as well.
because you love it. When you're in a space, you are contributing to that space and you're making a difference. And you not being there, it's you not being able to make the difference that you make every day.
Yeah.
JP, thank you so much for coming through. As we wrap up, I just want to, because also you touched on 70 ending. You touched on, you know, your own journey and the movies that you've done. And I realized that a lot of the movies have been Afrikaans movies, has been whatever. So I realized that living in this country in South Africa, they still, in 2023, 2024, a divide in the industry. They still GateNet projects, Afrikaans projects, white projects, and then there's Mzansi projects, there's the black projects. What would be your dream for South Africans? Because I think there's beauty in the different spaces existing, but I also think that the danger of the different spaces existing is that the people in a certain space think that's all that there is when there's more. So what are your thoughts around this conversation?
So I think there's beauty in diversity. We learn so much from it, and that's why I love to be in our high school.
Yes.
Because it became English then, and then I didn't only have Afrikaans friends, and I could learn from others, you know, and that's beautiful for me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm in psychology, because I cannot be a one size fits all. I can't be for one person a certain no. So with all my commercials, I don't even speak, but I do get a lot less auditions because I'm white. Because for taxes purposes and so on, a certain amount of people must be of color. And I understand that. I totally get it. And I understand apartheid. I get it. I was born in apartheid for like 2 years. But that's all I know. I wasn't part of apartheid. You know, most of my friends are of color. They aren't white. So I don't have any problem with that at all. Like I see people. I don't see whatever it comes with the person or who they love or whatever. But I do think through that, as you say, we can use that on set, where we can maybe have, for the movie we did, we had a female who was the main camera lady. The main camera lady. She carried that camera everywhere, and it's heavy. She ran with it. She went into small spaces and crawled with the camera. She's amazing. But they don't get a lot of exposure.
Yeah.
So with the netball, it was so amazing, where the whole camera crew, everybody in front and behind the screen, were all female. That's wonderful. And I do think, as you say, we should make it more that we can do it together because we can learn so much from each other.
Yeah.
And I won't mind to be, my dream was as a dingo.
Yeah.
Back in the day, yes, I loved it.
We all dreamt of it, and some of us never made it to it. But I think for me, there's an important part in that conversation, you know, and I thought it would be a great place to end it, to just find out what are your views around this, because I think we need more stories that integrate. We need, and I think 70land tried it a lot to introduce Eggy, you know, and other characters. It was still a struggle because there was a lot of pushback, but it was leading us somewhere, you know, in a space where there's diversity, in a space where we can introduce each other. I think the conversations of race in this country will never end, but I think that there are ways to have these conversations without them being a me versus you, but a matter of how do we exist individually, but also collaboratively together in the space. Yeah,
That's beautiful. I love that. Yeah.
Thank you, man, for coming through.
Thank
being
you for
part
this
of
opportunity.
conversation.
Yes, it's such an honor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's an honor to have you. And I think out of all our guests, besides the fact that you're the first Caucasian guest here,
Oh, wow. Thank you.
you are. For me, I've had actors who are doing full-time acting every single day that have we've sat here. Others, yes, they then become businesses and they've got, but it's still within the creative space. So you have come in and said, no, I've got a full-time career. I'm a psychologist. I went to school. I studied. but I've always been in this creative space because you were part of the plays at school, you were part of plays, you were doing ads when we're in school, and you're still doing that, and you're still contributing to the economy creatively, in this country. So it's beautiful to bring you here because we're giving other people who thought they can't do it anymore, that they can. They think I'm stuck behind the desk. Through this episode, we've been able to say, you are not. So thank you.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any parting words?
So, yeah, please be the best you that you can be always everywhere. And, never give up.
Indeed.
Never give up. Sometimes you audition 300 times, then you audition 300 times. Grab that opportunity and see each opportunity as an opportunity.
Yeah.
And not as I'm going to be let down, or, this is a lot of trouble and time and petrol. No. See it as a huge opportunity. Go fully for it. And if you don't get it, you learn from it. And next time, you use that experience to build on.
Indeed.
So never give up, and fully live your dreams.
Thank
you.
you.
The best you can, always. Like, I see how you are just blossoming everything you do.
Yeah.
And never stop.
Thank you so much.
Don't give up.
Thank you so much. Anything we need to look out for that you are busy with that's coming up soon?
So the movie is now on box office.
Yes.
And then the Apple commercial just released now. So it's Apple Mac.
Yeah.
So that released on Friday. So I hope you guys
can
will
you
see
do
that one
that
soon.
Yes, it's a Mac.
It's a Mac, yeah.
Love it.
That was awesome. There I had to flip a new iPhone 15.
Yeah.
And they put it in your wrong hand because of where the camera is. And I was
Yes.
like, this is my dumb hand. And then I flipped the phone naturally. I'm like, it's not natural to flip now. If this thing falls, there's security here, like Nia.
Yeah.
So no, it's amazing. It's a lovely place to be in. Have fun with it, explode things, there's cool stuff. But stay true to you, no matter what.
Stay true to you, no matter what. It has been a great one with JP. Follow him, be part of the journey, celebrate the work that he does. But above all, I hope through this episode you were given the permission to dream again. From me, Sipho, it's a wrap.